Hey, hey, good afternoon, dear region. I hope you're all doing more than awesome, having a nice Sunday, and recharging batteries for starting a new week tomorrow. And I'm really, really happy and glad that you are interested in knowing more about our new capacity building internal operating guidelines, as well as more about the procedures involved in the organization and also follow up of a sub-regional training, okay, which is an event that's vital for capacity building in our region. So let me share with you my screen so we can start right up with the presentation because we got quite a lot to talk about today. Okay, so now you may be able to see my screen. Yeah. So here it is. Um, Hello again. My name is Rodrigo Sanchez Iturregui, your current capacity building regional assistant for the region. And today, as part of the NMO management webinar series, this is our number 4th delivery. We're going to talk about the whole new capacity building IOGs and SRT procedures. As a background, I would like to tell you a bit more about how these CBIOGs. Okay, so before around 2017, we did not have those many regulations around capacity building, which is an area of our federation that has been increasingly been growing and growing exponentially. And so there was this need. Starting from last year, a small working group was created with the previous CVAT term. Okay, so to work on the analysis of current capacity building, uh, strengths, lacks, and many, many more aspects. And after that, the small working group continued for some more time. I even took part of it before I became an arenal assistant. And we worked recollecting all the input as well that many members, trainers, NMOs, executive boards, other youth NGOs as well had about capacity building and how it should be shaped as for fostering the development of skills of the members in every of our NMOs. After that, all this input and analysis specs are integrated, and uh, we came up with a final draft for our most recent General Assembly, 2019, which was March meeting, which took place in Portoroz, Slovenia. Yeah. So after a fruitful time of discussions with NMOs, it was successfully approved. Yay! Emotions, but I can hear your emotion. I know. So now we have capacity building IOGs functioning. We're still working on implementing all of what they involve, and this is the main content of the document. Okay, we're gonna go through all of them, not very much in detail because it's a thorough document indeed, but I want you to glance an idea of what each part of it has. Okay, so it has introduction, values, vision, mission, a structure of capacity building, some event regulations, workshop regulations, and annexes. Okay, so we established the vision and mission of capacity building. The vision mainly comes down to having all of our members with the necessary skills they need for doing everything our federation does at the local, national, international level for contributing to our common Federation's vision, which is global health and youth empowerment, isn't it? After that, our mission would be primarily divided into three, which is to educate members, to sustain the base of trainers with different measures and means of developing them, to keep educating more trainers, and lastly, but not least, of course, is to maintain capacity relevance. How does it mean? To keep our methods up to date, to keep our necessities met in a always innovative manner. Am I getting through right? Remember, if you have any question, just write it down in the chat here in the video, and I'll answer all of those at the end. Okay, so ask anything you may want. Next up, I want to talk to you about the structure of capacity building. Okay, so the coordination of all of this will mainly be by the capacity building international team, with the vice president for capacity building leading it, of course. Then we got our trainers, which can be defined as all these amazing people around the world who have attended a workshop, and after that are able to deliver sessions according to the needs of the participants that session is aimed at, as well as modeling any new thematic for the training session according to the needs. Basically, this is a trainer, and a trainer as well is considered a leader in any context he or she or they may be involved in. Then in the capacity building IOGs, we also mentioned the trainer pool. And I want you to especially listen to this part because this is completely new. The trainer pool is the general body of trainers we have worldwide, okay? And for being part of the trainer pool, it is not sufficient to attend the TNT. Yes, the trainer pool, what it has of special is that only members of the trainer pool are able to deliver training sessions within IFMSA official events, which we are going to talk about later on, such as general assemblies, regional meetings, and sub-regional trainings, SRTs. What else? Yes, basically this. Yeah. The trainer pool is to be guided, coordinated by this new body we've included in the IOGs, the TPAB, which stands for Trainer Pool Advisory Board. Okay, so this Trainer Pool Advisory Board has different specs. Okay, it's gonna be composed of members of the very same pool, and which will be elected by the members of the pool, and this will have functions especially assigned to them because this trainer pool could overwhelm as well the already heavy workload the CBAT has. Yes. So this is the body that will coordinate the pool. Within the pool, we have categories, for a way of saying it. Yeah, different kinds of memberships. We have experienced, full, junior, and alumni trainers. The experienced, of course, are required to have many, many more hours, which is around 100 or more. The full are required to deliver a less quantity of hours, which is around 50. Junior, those are required only to deliver 15 hours. And alumni are trainers who have already graduated, of course, but still wish to remain knowledgeable of what we do in capacity building in the Federation. Okay, so now about the trainer pool membership. We also have another category of membership, which is candidate trainers. It is not necessarily a membership. No, it isn't. Every member that attends a TNT automatically gets the status of a candidate trainer. This status is for them to be able to apply to be part of the trainer pool. yes, for a time of 6 months, okay? So if they attend a TNT, they are not already part of the pool. They have a time to apply, and then they can become junior trainers, okay, once they apply. Talking about the specialization, members of the pool, of course, can pursue different paths in capacity building in the Federation. For example, human rights trainers, exchange trainers, medical education trainers. We have lots of them, as well as advanced trainers, which is the TAT, which we are going to talk about as well later. The alumni trainers that we've already mentioned. Moreover, we're going to have a trainer pool database, which will highly benefit all of our NMOs. How? For showing what is the portfolio of trainings that a member has, for them to be able to better choose which trainer to choose to have in their events, such as SRTs, for example. As well, in the trainer pool, we consider how to have external trainers, how we make them equivalent to what we have, because we are not the only youth NGO that has a CB structure within it. Okay, others do have one, and it is highly beneficial for us to make joint efforts as well in capacity building. So that's why we've considered a part for recognizing external trainers. As well, the trainer pool is able to use the merchandising that our federation has, according, of course, to our IFMSA corporate identity, our CI. We're talking about, for example, t-shirts that all of our trainers use. Okay, so that was for the general part of the structure of capacity building. Next up, we're going to talk about some event regulations. And when talking about events, we're talking about pre-events, about SRTs, and about online training. Let's see. So, pre-events. These are mainly capacity building events that precede IFMSA General Assemblies as well as regional meetings. For example, in these pictures, you can see what has happened in our most recent pre-regional meeting, which was held in Manta, wonderful Ecuador. A nice throwback. Okay, so we have considered this within the pre-event spec, as well as subrenal trainings. Subrenal trainings are mainly capacity building events that happen within a region, apart from pre-GAs and pre-RMs. Let's say, for example, there are pre-Americas regional meeting, let's say pre-African regional meeting, and also we have pre-March meeting 19, pre-August meeting 2019, which will happen in Taiwan. Any workshop that happens outside of these events and has acquired approval from IFMSA is considered an SRT. It is necessary only one to be considered an SRT, one workshop. Okay, we're going to talk more about that in the next section. Okay, so here you can see different logos of some recent subrenal trainings that have happened in our region, organized by IFMSA Chile, IFMSA Guatemala, ASEMCOL Colombia, as well as IFMSA Quebec, which is the recent one of the most recent ones that has included 3 workshops. Now, talking about online training, this is also a new part of capacity building within the IOGs. We have different modalities, okay, such as basic online course, advanced online course, and online workshop. When we're talking about the basic online course, they increase the amount of hours they have. I mean, the basic online course is the one that has the least amount, and the online workshop, sorry, is the one that has the most. As well as they vary in their nature according to how much can participants interact with the facilitators. In the basic online course, for example, it is depicted in our IOGs that they are passive uh, participants, such as they cannot get in touch with the facilitators. They just receive information and learn. In the advanced ones, they may be able to. And in the online workshop, which is the most dynamic one, is the one that resembles the most to our commonly organized physical workshops around the world. What are some general regulations about online training? The proposals, as for the courses, which are the two first ones, are to be sent 4 weeks before the intended date of start of the online training. And as for workshops, online workshops, the minimum amount of weeks is 6 before the intended start date. Now, also, if the online workshop is related to the standing committee, the standing committee director should be consulted. That's mainly to be done by us, the international team, so don't worry about that. Then we're going to go through what part does the online training proposal have in Annex 10. So then we're going to see that. And also the online training is to be approved by the executive board. Okay, once they do, the CBAT will contact the proposers for granting facilitators access to a wholly new platform we're establishing within the IFMSA website for our online training purposes. As well, once they have the approval, of course, it is recognized as an IFMSA event, and of course, they can use our corporate identity in any of the promotional efforts. This means flyers, the usage of our logos and stuff. And at the end, the online training proposal is to be approved by BPCB after different input from CBAT members or standing committee directors as well. If you have just joined, I want to remind you, if you have any questions, write them in our chat box and I'll answer all of them at the end of our webinar, okay? So our next section is about workshop regulations. Remember that within as a regional training is considered an IFMSA event. And within this IFMSA event, we can have one or more workshops going on. Now we're going to talk about workshops. Workshop regulations. In this section, only about the training new trainers. As a quick recap, many of us have already heard about TNT, right? Which is an essential workshop to produce new trainers that are able to design and deliver educational content. This is training sessions, regardless of the topic, as well as instructing skills, attitudes, knowledge on the trainees, on the attendants, using different methodology related to non-formal education. What I want to mention here is mainly what has changed, because I know some of my wonderful capacity building representatives in the NMOs, huge hugs to all of you, are listening to this, and this is important for you when you're organizing new workshops. We have increased the minimum amount of hours a TNT should last. Now it is 44 hours. Now it is 44 hours. And during the workshop, only a maximum of 10 hours can be delivered each day. So what does this mean? That the workshop should last between 4 and 5 days. Why do I say 4 or 5 days? Because with this 10-hour daily quota, 44 hours could only be split in 5 days. I say 4 because it is possible as well to conduct up to 8 hours of online training prior to the physical workshop. So if we do 8 hours, that would be subtracted from the 44, leaving us with 36, which can be delivered in 4 days with a 10-hour daily quota. Am I getting right? Okay. Next. Also, the TNT should comply to the trainer pool procedures, the trainer pool we've already talked about, such as the trainer call and the candidate trainer staff. How is this? The trainer pool is also in charge of overseeing all the calls for trainers for different workshops to distribute it in our IFMSA training server as for any trainer in the region or in the world to have the chance to see, oh, I want to apply to this workshop, so I'll go for it. Yes. So the TNT should now abide to these indications, and as well as when the workshop has already finished, our attendants will have the status of candidate trainers, and it is highly advisable for the facilitators to follow up on them as to encourage them to apply to the pool eventually. Yeah, this is it for this section. Now we're going to talk about the annexes found in the CBIOGs. These are all the annexes. We're going to talk about most of them, except number 4, because these have mostly very technical stuff that's especially related to the work of our capacity building representatives. So if you're a capacity building representative, don't hesitate in reaching out to me. My contact information will be depicted at the end of the presentation, so don't worry. So first up, we have the application form for SRT. So whenever you want to organize superregional training, we, at least, well, me, because I am the contact person between IFMSA and the NMOs of the Americas regarding this event, you need to submit a filled-in application form, which will have the name of your activity, the dates you're proposing, who you're proposing to coordinate, and as well we show the NMO support of your president here with the signature and stamp. Then we have the preliminary and SRT proposals. This is a very technical as well document, but generally talking, this is elaborated by the CV representative of an NMO. Altogether, it can be possible as well with the activity coordinator, because it can be a different person. When we're talking about activity, we're talking about the event, okay? So don't get confused about this word. Some areas we have within this annex is the name of the event, introduction, background, the purpose, target groups of your event, who do you want to be benefited by it, as well as a general description, which workshops you will have, the main goals you have, as well as success indicators related to the objectives you are setting for your event. And then we also have who will be in charge of each stream if you have more than one workshop, and responsible officials. Okay. Next up, we have the third annex, which is about sub-regional training procedures. So we're going to go much in detail in the last section of our presentation about this one. So we're going to skip this part. Annex 5 is about workshop regulations. We have mainly the ones that you can see in the little text box. I've included the TAT, CBB, mean FADE, and ELS. Okay, so TAT stands for Training Advanced Trainers. What you should know at the moment is that this has replaced and is to replace the previous workshops we had, TET and TOT, which were training experienced trainers in training old trainers. So the TAT will stand as the second and highest form of trainer development in our federation. And what I've been asked as well by some people is who could be able to deliver this TAT, as we don't currently have many of those workshops happening in our region. Uh, Currently, as per our IOGs, uh, this will mainly be handled by the CPIT, so you can reach out to us if you want to organize one and tell us which are your proposed facilitators so we can give you feedback on it and work on a solution for organizing it. Then we have the CBB, which is the capacity building builders. Okay, this is mainly if you want to learn a lot more about capacity building issues at the institutional level within our federation, talking about CB management mainly. Then we have the mini facilitation and development skills workshop, which is mainly for people who want to learn the skills. That includes a TNT, but don't want to become a trainer. This workshop will last what a TNT used to last. So this will supply the needs of many people who did not want to become trainers, but only learn the skills. Then we have the essential leadership skills workshop, which will be uh, implemented with time as well. Then going on with the annexes, now we've included within the CBIOGs, as for better following up on all of our procedures, contracts, okay? Between, this is related to subregional trainings, okay? First, between IFMSA and the host NMO that wants to organize an SRT. As for stating who is responsible of which thing, and just to having a backup in case anything goes out of the plan of the event. As well, we've included a contract between the host NMO and the trainers selected for the event. As for establishing which obligations should a trainer fulfill in order to receive a letter of facilitation by IFMSA, or what should the NMO provide the trainer with during the event and stuff. This could be maybe full lodging, transportation, anything related to this. Okay, so this is a pair of contracts we've included as well. Oh, and this is the template for the online training proposal I was talking to you about before. Yes, so it is very similar to the one to the activity description of an SRT. It has a little less parts of it, of course. We have the title, as well as which level of online course it is, the background, why do you want to organize this online training, topics, related standing committees, which is your target group, which people, objectives you have, which methodology will you follow, as well as your timeline for preparing the online course. This final, almost final, annex is about the session outline template. Oh, okay, so this is mainly something we all as trainers already know, but weren't able to, but weren't established in our IOGs. So now it is. It is basically the session outline, and this is required for applying for the trainer pool. So for candidate trainers, this should be a must. Now, we have also the annex for recognizing, regulating the participation of external trainers, as I was telling you, from other youth NGOs in our capacity building events. Here we do explain why we want to regulate their participation, what do we recognize as their rights and limitations within the events, and what do we require them for recognizing their participation in the event. We're about to finish, yes? So again, if you have any question about any of the previous parts we've already covered, don't hesitate in writing them in the chat box and then answer them at the end. Okay, so now talking about SRT procedures. This is described in Annex 3 of our IOGs. What's some general information about them? We include the overall steps that should be followed for it in order to be recognized by IFMSA. First, the SRT preliminary proposal submission, the proposal approval, the follow-up and evaluation, which involves the letter of participation and some reports and evaluations, the workshop certification at the very end, which is mainly issuing of different documents. We're gonna cover each of them quickly in the upcoming slides. And what is mostly relevant, remember, is that the main contact between the interested NMO in organizing the SRT and IFMSA is the CBRA, Capacity Building Regional Assistant. In this case, and currently, before going on into each of these, I want to talk to you about the roles and responsibilities described in the IOGs. What is an organizing committee and all of this? So an organizing committee is the group of people that is the team that will organize the event within the NMO. This one is in charge of submitting documents to me to organize the trainer's goal, as well as redistributing the evaluation form to be sent by the international team members. That is May, that is as well other regional assistants possibly, or development assistants of the standing committees. And also the OC is in charge of overseeing that they always abide these IOGs, what all we've already talked about. And of course, they are not alone. Who is always coordinating, advising them is the CBRA, which is a link between the OC and IFMSA. Then within the event, we have workshop coordinators. Let's say we have 2, 3, 4, 5. In case we have 5 workshops in the SRT, there will be 5 workshop coordinators. These are to be, of course, trainers to have a certain amount of experience in the field of the workshop they are leading. They are appointed by the OC. They draft the trainer call all together with the international team member and then coordinate with the OC to send in it. 2, our server and different means of communication we have. So here we have the international team member. Why? This is in case the workshop coordinator is for a workshop related to a standing committee, let's say for a TNHRT. This person should be in contact with the SCORP development assistant, which is the ITM in this case. As well, the workshop coordinator is responsible for the workshop evaluation at the end, which is to be coordinated as well with the ITM, and coordinate certification. How is this? Basically, he will hand a list to the international team members that are relevant, with the eligible participants for a certificate. This means that they have already fulfilled all the requirements according to the specific regulations that certain workshops may have. Then after this, we're going to talk about that. CVRA, main contact. As I was telling you, the international team member is the main link between the workshop coordinator and the relevant official. Who is this? Using the very same example of the teenager T. The SCORP development assistant, for example, is in charge of linking the workshop coordinator and the SCORP director. So they are always in the same page. This ITM is in charge of reviewing the compliance of the workshop proposal within the SRT activity description to the specific standing committee regulations, if existent, of course, and always supporting the workshop coordinator. Maybe some materials they may need, some more assistance, maybe on selecting trainers when finally having all the applications. And of course, the VPCB, our Vice President for Capacity Building, is in charge of overviewing all of the SRT procedures, all of them, and giving a final green light to the event. No SRT is to be recognized by IFMSA if not given approval by the VPCB. Now we're going to talk about these ones quickly. About the SRT preliminary proposal permission. It is to be sent until 10 weeks before the SRT, and it should include what we've already talked about: date, location, goals, follow-up, budget, and fundraising measures, standing committee workshop-related proposals, and proposed workshop coordinators. This proposal is to be reviewed by me, the CVRA, and I will be in charge of forwarding it with my what I've already checked with VPCB, the relevant international team member, as well as with the official. After the approval of this, the OC will be able to start promotion and using the corporate identity of IFMSA. So this is a preliminary. Let's say that I have some input and also VPCB has. So we both will send these recommendations to the OC for them to amend their proposal. So that is why this is preliminary. The main purpose of the preliminary proposal is to start promotion. So the OC can start promotion. But there still may be some changes to be done in the proposal. So here comes the SRT final proposal approval. This one is to be sent 4 weeks before the SRT. And for this, the workshop coordinator will now be directly in contact with the relevant international team member. And at the end, the VPCB, in coordination with the related standing committee director, will be in charge for approval. Then comes the part of SRT follow-up and evaluation. The SRT report, which is to be filled in by the CB representative of the NMO, or maybe it could be delegated by this person to the activity coordinator. So the SRT report is to be sent until 1 month after the event is over and should include the lists of participants, of facilitators, a summary of the event, pictures, and other data we require as CVAT. Then we have the SRT evaluation as well, which will be mostly facilitated by me or the workshop coordinator, which will be as well coordinating with the international team member. This is to be handed to the participants during the last day of the of the SRT of the workshop as well. And talking about certification within the workshop, we have letter of participation, which is something new in the IOGs, workshop certificate, and certificate of facilitation. The letter of participation will be issued by BPA, who is in charge of all our documents issuing, in coordination with his assistants as well. And the letter of participation then will be sent to the participants by the workshop coordinator, and only if this person has attended at least 2/3 of the workshop. This is prior to the workshop certificate, okay? The workshop certificate will be handed to the participant depending on the workshop, because different workshops have different requirements. This can be maybe the participant must deliver one session after the workshop is finished back in their NMO, and to send a report to the facilitators and staff, for example. So once they have fulfilled that criteria, they're able to be issued a workshop certificate. Who will be in charge of this? The workshop coordinator in contact with me or the relevant international team member, for knowing who is eligible for receiving this workshop. Lastly, but not least, of course, we have the certificate of facilitation, which is aimed at the trainers of the workshops within the sovereign trainings. To send it only to those that have fulfilled all the obligations described in the trainer contract we've already mentioned in the annexes, remember. So this is a summary table as for what to know for specific workshop considerations when you want to organize an SRT, and also for selecting trainers that you want to optimally follow up on your participants. Which are workshops that require proposals? These ones. The TNT, the workshops related to SCOF, the Public Health Leadership Training, SCOME, the Training Medical Education Training, as well as SCOME, the Advocacy Medical Education Training, the PRET, which is related to the exchanges committees, SCOPE and SCORI, Professional and Research Exchange Training, the IPAS workshop on access to safe abortion, as well as the IPAD one. These are both related to SCORA, TNHRT, Training New Human Rights Trainers related to SCORP, as well as the ITBM and HRMP, which stand for the International Training for Disaster Medicine or Human Rights for Medical Practitioners. And which are the workshops that require specific follow-up once the workshop is over? PHLT, TMED, AMED, TNHRT, the ITBM, and Human Rights for Medical Practitioners workshop. Now, which is the timeline? Okay, so this is kind of a summary of what we have already talked about in these slides. 10 weeks before the SRT, the OC should submit an SRT preliminary proposal to the CBRA. Then we have 2 weeks, a 2 weeks time to give input to the OC. So 8 weeks before the event, the approval process may be completed, or if not, reviewing processes, including input from us, international team members, is given to workshop coordinators and the OC. So in case this happens, the OC has 2 more weeks to send the updated proposal with the incorporated input. So here the approval process is completed in case we've already given input to the OC. After this, 1 month before the event, the final proposal shall be submitted at the very last to the CVRA by the OC. And then the approval process is completed. Okay, so let's not get confused when we're talking about these ones. It is about the SRT preliminary proposal. And these two ones is about the SRT final proposal. So the preliminary proposal is highly advised for NMOs who would like to have a bigger impact on the region or their members for better involving them uh, by giving them more time to start promotion of the event. As you see, 10 weeks before, differently to the SRT final proposal, which will have less time for promotion. Then, of course, the SRT happens, and the last day of the sovereign training, the letters of participation are distributed to the participants. This is in charge our great BPA for the documents, all together with the workshop coordinators. Then 1 week after the SRT, the evaluation form is to be sent to the participants. This evaluation form, remember, uh, will assess general organizational aspects of the event, not about specific workshops, but how the event went through, what about the lodging, about the time, all of this general stuff. 4 weeks after the SRT, an SRT report form is to be submitted to me by the OC. And 7 months later, if the certification requirements are met, this is communicated to us by the workshop coordinators. Then, 9 months after the event, international team members will send the certificates to the participants and also to me, as for having the record, of course, because in charge of distributing them are the international team members. So this is a summary. If you have any question, I would love to read them in the chat box. Which are some further regulations about sovereign trainings? As they are official IFMSA events, they must be in line with our constitution and bylaws. As well as, let's remember, sovereign training may be hosted by NMOs individually or jointly. I mean, two NMOs can come together to organize a maybe bigger SRT. Or as well, it can be led by the team of officials. As well, the usage of our corporate identity and merchandise is permitted once the event is approved, and it is to be coordinated with our Vice President for Public Relations and Communications, our VVPRC. As well, the OC should make sure contracts are signed, and this is an important part. Okay, I want you to focus on this, because if an NMO is found to not be sticking to these processes, then if they want to organize another event, there may be some observations. So it is important to sign the contracts. After this, we have the trainer call, which is to be distributed all together in the future with a functioning trainer pool in a trainer pool advisory board. Remember, these trainer calls are to be distributed in our servers as well as within the pool of trainers. All the fees for trainers are to be fully covered. This is lodging. We're talking about food and accommodation, not about transportation fees, for example, from other countries. As well, the SRT can be delivered in any working language, okay? But the documents to be submitted to me for applying to be approved by IFMSA as an official event had to be in English, of course. Upon approval of the event, the SRT should and must abide to our Code of Conduct, which is a document that describes a general consensus as to how to behave in a cultural sensitive manner, and as to abide to the values of our federation. Then as well, the event should follow ethical fundraising and eco-sustainability recommendations, which are other two documents already produced within our federation. Mainly this, I will be in charge of communicating them, forwarding them to the capacity building representatives that are interested in organizing SRTs. As a last word, remember, we all are capacity building. Remember that there is no way a youth-led organization as powerful as ours can go on without transmitting the very own essence and spirit. And that's what we do mainly with capacity building, enabling our members to carry out all of their activities and to continue developing their NMOs to the maximum to give our societies the best possible impact. So now, are there any questions? I will read our chat box. Keep writing your questions. 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 Okay. So we're about to finish. I'm sharing with you my screen again. So if later on, while checking in the video again, you have any questions, Remember that you can further read our IFMSA capacity building and internal operating guidelines. Okay, here is the document with all the specific parts we've already talked about. And remember that if you want to contact me, maybe to have the document or any other doubt, here's my information. You can contact me via email, WhatsApp. There's as well my information of Instagram and Facebook. Anyway, these are all the ways you can contact me. So thank you very much for attending. It was a really, really nice experience to finally be delivering to you this topic that is very new within our federation, and it is vital for you to know. Okay, so remember, if you have any questions, don't hesitate in reaching out to me. Have an awesome Sunday. Bye, guys.